talked there before. We've chatted.
Okay, and I believe we are
Yes, we are.
live. Good
Hello,
morning.
everyone. Welcome back to Magnet Monday. Thank you so much for joining us once again. We are super excited because today we have the pleasure of talking to the one and only James Rembert, aka Zillow Killer. How are you today, James?
I'm well. I'm well. Thank you guys for having me.
Absolutely, our pleasure.
Pleasure.
So, James,
So,
we wanted to, basically the first thing that we want to know is about you, like who you are. How did this, I'm intrigued, honestly, like personal question from me. How did Zillow Killer come up?
The name, it's a
Yes.
nickname, you guys. I didn't name myself that. For you guys that know, I pride myself on being around practitioners because I am a practitioner on all sides. I sold real estate at one time. And what happened is as business started to grow, a lot of people started asking what was I doing. And I started teaching people. And from me teaching people, that eventually evolved into an entire agency, an entire business. Um, and then from the business, I started to, I was asked, I would always get asked to come out and teach and train. You know, I live I live with a mindset of abundance. And my
Yeah.
very first speaking, like big speaking invite was at Inman. And it was in Inman, New York. And I've never been in that type of environment before. So I didn't know how to treat it. And
Yeah.
somebody on my team had some t-shirts made. So we were going to promote the company. It said Digital Natives and it had Zillow Killer on it. And I was like, but I'm into marketing. So understood the term Zillow Killer would gain attention, but the goal was for them to see digital natives. It was never to hone in on that terminology, or that was never the focus. It was
of
just to
course.
get the attention and then people can hear me speak. And
Mm-hmm.
I spoke and they gave me like 5 minutes and I was so nervous. Like I was terrified. I was so scared. When I spoke, I never said my name. So,
You,
Oh my
so
God.
yeah, it's like
That happens.
6,000 people. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
like 6,000 people. I did the whole speak. I spoke. I left. Never said my name. And while I was in front, I didn't know when you're in the when you in these speaking events, you're supposed to stay in the green room until they let out, and then you migrate to whatever booth or you can go meet the people. I just left. Like I was so ignorant, so I just left, and I was out in the vestibule. I was waiting for the people out that I came. It was two
Yeah.
guys that came with me while I was in the hallway. Um, it let out and like 200 or so people surrounded me and everybody that kept coming up,
wow.
they just surrounded me was like, hey, Zillow Killer, Zillow Killer.
Right.
I text my assistant, was like, everything that says Zillow Killer, lock it down. And the name stuck ever since.
Nice. And that's how
That's the
your
way to do
name
it.
came up.
Mhm. Which is
Great.
in truth, that's how branding is done. And that's what people
Exactly.
don't know,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Yeah,
Branding is what people say about you and what they say
correct.
about you when you're not around. So
Exactly.
just a
Yeah,
quick lesson in
absolutely.
branding.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, that the funny thing is that my nickname, the title girl, actually was put up by, an agent, one of my realtors clients. She's like, "Oh, call my title girl. Call the title girl. Call my title girl." And that's pretty much how I started my branding, the title girl. Then obviously you have all the copycats that want to become like you. But you know what? I always say, you know what? Always do what is it? Always copy but never duplicate it. You know what I mean? That's the key. So tell us, I follow you everywhere. So for those
Yeah.
of you who do not follow you on Clubhouse and you have an iPhone, follow Silo Killer. He's amazing
Yes.
with all the topics, and you always sharing so much value and information for free, guys, for free.
Yeah.
And I love that about you. And the reason why we brought you to Magnet Monday, and thank you for joining us today, is because you help agents, realtors, try to shift their mind into what they need to do in today's market, right? In today's hot market. So if you can share with us a little bit how you share that knowledge with them, how is it that you can help them guide and shift their mindset? That would be great.
Yeah, of course. Our whole philosophy of how we operate, and giving is all about abundance, right? I understand the universal law of money, and I understand how it flows. So we don't have any. I don't have any scarcity at all. But the whole
Yes.
focus is helping the industry understand that the internet is a presence, not a destination.
Yes.
If we can adapt to that truth, not a
Mhm.
philosophy, but that truth, when we start talking about, channels like Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, and so on, it's easier to view these channels not as just social media, but we start to see these channels as distribution and communication, because that's how we're
Exactly.
communicating, that's how we're engaging, right? We live in a day of 2021, and 2021 is all about digital. And fortunately, people don't understand that that is not the industry, that's the world we live in. The world is a digital based world, right?
Mhm.
So communication is very easy now, and it's almost intuitive. But when we start to put it into practical sense of, hey, listen, Facebook, you need to be doing this, YouTube, you need to be doing this, it's like, well, that's just social media, and you've missed
Right.
the whole
Right.
concept of what the internet is. So my vision and my goal is to educate the industry to help them understand that, it's not a dislike for Zillow. I could care less what Zillow does. I never even talk about Zillow. So when people hear Zillow killer, they have this
Right.
assumption that I'm coming to, like, talk crap on Zillow, and I don't really care what they do. The reason why is because I understand what the internet is,
Mhm.
or we can understand the power of the internet, the access and accessibility that we have with these different channels. Zillow is not a problem or concern for us, right? I think Zillow has its place,
Absolutely.
but
Mhm.
as an industry or an entrepreneur, and even just in the real estate industry, we need to understand we have that same access, those same tools, because the internet is a
Mhm.
presence. It's not a destination. So
Exactly.
talk about using it to communicate. We're more inclined to use, YouTube to communicate, Facebook to communicate, TikTok to communicate. We can pay attention to the evolution of how people are consuming content, because the consumption of content is a next level of communication. It goes from where video, people hear video and they freak out. It's like, I don't do video, right?
All
That's
the
all we can
time.
say, right? But when we understand, if I say to most people, hey, if you met somebody inside Target, could you sell them? Oh yeah, I can
Mm.
sell them. Well, video is conversation on scale. That's all it is, right? So instead of one to one, video makes it one to many.
Mhm.
And it's dynamic. You don't have to keep repeating the conversation. That's the amazing part about video. But the fear and the problem people have is, one, they're not clear about who they are,
Yeah.
right? To do video, you have to be clear about who you are, because there is no transferring of energy here. When I'm talking to somebody, I can BS somebody just based off their facial expressions. Either they get me or they don't. I can eject,
Right.
right?
Mhm.
Video is all about, what do you have to say? Can't BS me through
Yes.
this video right now, because there's no energy to feed off of. You have to know what you're talking about. So when we tell agents that they have to do video, a lot of people dismiss it, because internally they don't even know clarity is very important when it comes to doing video, because it's not about being authentic, because I think we should all be authentic, but it's
Mhm.
all about resonating, omnipresence, and intimacy. That's the true ROI when we talk about the internet and video. If you can tap into resonating when you're doing your videos, you're staying consistent, and you build up some omnipresence, and that's just consistent. That's all you need to do, is be consistent.
Right.
And don't BS me. Be a real person and tap into some real intimacy. Be willing to be vulnerable and tell me, more than just what you've done, but how could you be of service to me?
Mhm.
That's the game.
That's so
Exactly.
true.
And I think a lot of people get confused about that. They're
Mhm.
trying, like you said, it is important to be authentic, and people usually follow what other people are doing. Like, well, this is hot right now. Let me see. Like they have this fear of getting into in front of the camera because of it, because they don't know what to talk about. They're like, what should I talk about? Other people are talking about this. And I'm like, you are an expert at something.
Mhm.
And I'm
Mhm.
pretty sure that people ask you for help with something that you are very good at. Then talk about that, because that's your area of expertise. So getting on video shouldn't be as hard. You know what I'm saying? Because you can talk about what you already know. And then you build that type of relationship with the audience that is already following you. And that builds intimacy as well, because they get to know you intimately. Like, this person really knows about this and they can help me with that. And like you said, it's all about projecting how can I serve, right? Like, how can you serve? What do you have that will service me as a consumer?
It expedites the rapport, right? I don't
Mhm.
have to. If D is putting herself out there, when they meet D, it's like, oh snap, I just seen this video of you, right? Because there's only two reasons why people buy from us, whether
Right.
people know that or not. It's emotion or agreed upon value. That's it.
Mm-hmm.
You see your videos,
Exactly.
it's emotion or agreed upon value, and you will be surprised at what people have in common with other people if you're willing
Hmm.
to share that. I had this. I just was in a call, and one of the girls that coached with me, very quiet, very reserved. And she was talking about her new club. And I was like, I joined it. She was like, oh, it's not for real estate. And I was like, well, what does that have to do anything? Right.
Uh-huh.
And she was like, well, it's for motorcycles. All right. She was like, really? I say, I have an entire company that builds cafe races. She knew exactly what that was. Right.
Yeah.
So because she told me it was about motorcycles, I understood what a culture that aligned with motorcycles like cafe
Right.
races,
Mm-hmm.
that was immediate agreed upon value. So if that was somebody that didn't know who I was and I talked about something that I have passion or I have insights on, that's where we can connect that. And then
Yes.
we can get into everything else. I can sell them a house later, but just being, that place where we can connect either emotionally or agreed upon value builds instant rapport. Be an agent later, be a person first.
Exactly.
Yeah,
Love
that
that.
is so true. That is so true. And that's, I think that the focus that we all have sometimes is that we are so focused on making that deal and that transaction that
Hmm.
we forget who we are sometimes. We forget or true value or heart, like, or passion. We sometimes forget, and I always tell my clients and my colleagues, if you are amazing at, playing a sport or, music, motorcycles, anything, hey, that could be your niche. That could be your sphere of
Yeah.
influence.
Yeah.
You don't have to, like we say, you don't have to pay a bunch of lead generation companies or doing all of this when you have so many tools for free and so many groups that you can join in and lead generation that way, by building relationships, you
Right.
know?
Sometimes I think that people forget that they're dealing with people.
Mhm.
Mhm.
They only see it as numbers and a transaction, basically, like I'm getting money out of this. Like sometimes we forget the human side of the business that we're doing. So I think it is important that we keep that in mind, because if we build relationships first, we can definitely sell later, and we'll sell even more than if we just focus on transactions and numbers.
Mhm.
I built my entire business from videos and open houses. I didn't start doing
Wow.
Facebook ads until year 3.
There you
And
go.
Wow.
my
And
my
that's funny that you talk about that, because a lot of I do social media marketing, and I tell this to all of my agents and clients. It's like, because they think that if they're on social media, then that's it. And I'm like, that's not a standalone service for you to get business. You need to get out there, you need to build relationships. I'm just focusing on your online presence, making sure that you have an online presence.
Mhm.
But this is not just, it's like you said, it's not a destination. And I love that you always say that, because people really believe like, oh, well, if I do videos and that's it, I can just sit down and, that's it, I'm good. And it's not.
It's awareness, and that's the game.
Exactly.
Like, a lot of agents aren't failing because of lack of skills or time in business. They're failing because of obscurity. Nobody knows who you are, right? So the
Mm-hmm.
fastest way to get to know who I am is going to be through videos. I would love to tell you you can put out some static images and when it's too subjective, right? When you talk, scripture says out of the mouth speaketh the heart. I can hear you.
Yes. Amen.
I can hear you.
Amen.
So when
Mhm.
you're talking, there are two things happening. Either you're trying to be of service or you BSing me. Either way, I can make that decision if I want to work with you or not. Right. So, people's fear when it comes to putting themselves out there, like I said, the biggest thing I see is the lack of clarity of who they are as a person, because they spent so many years of trying or kind of pushing their way into a situation, right?
Right.
Where when you get to a place and understand what the internet is about attraction. It's a pull game, right? If I put myself out there, I'll attract the ideal person. I don't have
Mm-hmm.
to force it, right?
Exactly.
There's a lot of people that don't want to work with me because of my ethnicity, because of my gender, right?
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot of reasons why people may not want to work with me, right?
Yeah.
But one thing I
Mm-hmm.
do
Mm-hmm.
understand is when you provide value, the world no longer sees color, gender. If they see none of that, they see the
You got
value
it.
you provide.
Absolutely.
But you
That's
have
right.
to open your mouth to do that.
Absolutely. I agree with you 100%. When people really truly love what you're doing and they see value, and I'm telling you, James, I think Dee and I met you on Clubhouse.
Yeah.
And I'm always so grateful for every little nugget that you bring us in Clubhouse, because I learned something new, and I'm always messaging you. I know you're extremely busy and you have a ton of people that you know, but I make sure that I say thank you.
Right.
Thank you for this nugget that I learned today. Thank you for, for this, because I'm always learning. I think that, that's value that you bring to others. And believe it or not, I'm grateful for that. And I'm grateful for the people that God are putting in my life. Even if you're far and I've never met you, I'm like, wow, I'm grateful for this guy. May God bless this man, because you know what? He taught me how to do this. He taught me how to do that. And, like you said, I don't know where, if we're going to have this business for the next 15 years to come. I'm not going to lie to you. I don't know, with everything that's going on right now, I don't know if realtors are going to have this amazing career for the next 15 years. But all I know is that right now, social media, branding, and online presence is the way to go. So I know I need to be ahead of the game right now.
It's essential to your business. It's not even an option. I would love to say being online or videos is an option. It's essential to your business. It's not something like, well, I think I'm going to do it. It's mandatory, right? Yeah. If you don't do it, you will cease to exist. And some people have a way of justifying what they're doing now based off of, well, I'm doing a deal a month. It's almost heartbreaking to hear. The reason why that's heartbreaking to hear is because you have access to the planet, not just your market. You have access to the planet, and you have settled with just the bare minimum.
Right.
Life is too big for that. It's too big for that, for us to just be okay with just the bare minimum. And all I'm saying for you to do is get uncomfortable, put yourself out there, and let people hear who you are. That's it. Right? Yeah. I'm a recovering introvert. This isn't normal for me, right? But there were things that I needed and wanted for my life that I understood I had to move at the speed of implementation. I had to make that decision to put myself out there. And if I did, I knew what was possible, right? We know it's possible, but we still choose not to put ourselves out there. So as much as I like to put empathy behind, well, video, I'm scared of video. No, you're not scared of video. You're uncomfortable about doing video.
Right.
That's
you.
right.
That's you.
That's right.
If you choose to get uncomfortable, the sky is the limit. There is no limitations of where you can go in your life. And I say that I'm from a world I have everything I got, I built from the ground up. Everything. Wow. I could say this from the real estate industry. From this industry, I was able to break the financial curse on my family's life. There are two things I can always tell people, and they joke when I say this, but I can promise both of you guys this, and anybody that's listening. I promise you I'll never be fat, and I promise you I'll never be broke. Promise you.
Yeah. Amen.
Amen. James, now that you're on that topic, can you tell us a little bit more about the 13 content type for hyperlocal domination program that you have?
Oh, that's the boot camp. I give that away. If you guys... Yeah, that's
we want to know a little bit about that.
If you guys, I think it's like a text thing they put together, but it gives you guys different types of content. You guys can put yourself out there. But that aligns with one of the boot camps we do. We do a boot camp once a month, the first week of every month. And it goes into that, but we go even deeper. And I teach you guys how to build out campaigns. You guys understand how to properly structure content. You guys understand how to generate conversations, not just leads, right?
Exactly.
If all you can do is generate leads, that's not going to benefit you. You need to, it's 2021.
Yeah.
We're at a place where we can generate conversations, but it's a 5-night boot camp that I do. But every dime from the boot camp that we raise, we donate to different children's charities. So I don't even keep the money. Every penny that comes from the boot camp goes there. So if you give me 5 days, I promise you I can weaponize you guys that you will never be taken advantage of again by anybody.
Awesome. So, and how can everybody that's listening right now, if they want to join your boot camp, how can they do it?
if they look up my name, just jamesrembert.com, you'll see a link that says boot camp. Or if you join I have a free Facebook group where like some stuff we talk about in Clubhouse, it
Mhm.
requires visuals. If they look up Zillow Killer, one word, they'll
Yeah.
see the Facebook group. But those are places where the links are. And we keep the groups pretty strong because I nurture the
Okay.
concept of intimacy. Yeah, I can really take some time and get to know you, try and break down those false beliefs. It's deeper than just understanding the components.
Right.
Inside the boot camp, we I try and give you guys some new paradigms to look at life, business, and how you implement what you're doing. Because if I can't help change the mindset, it
Right.
doesn't matter what I teach you, right? If we can go
Exactly.
through, I can tell you, hit one, hit two, and do this. It doesn't matter if the mindset isn't there. It doesn't. It's a waste of time. And I understand when it comes to entrepreneurship and business, the real battleground is in the mind. If I
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
can get this, everything else is cake work because it's all about moving at the speed of implementation. There is no, we talk about different, advertising and
Mhm.
marketing and stuff like that. There's really no beginners, anything. It's just about implementing what you've learned. That's it, right?
Wow.
Moving at the
So
speed of
cool.
implementation. That's it. So
Yeah,
5 days and I
absolutely.
get you
I
straight.
love that you said that it starts in the
Yeah.
mind, and I love that you call yourself a dopamine dealer because
Oh, you see that?
it really, yes, you really are. Trust me, like every time, like we have our notifications up, and we talk about Clubhouse a lot on here because it is a free resource for people to get free value all the time. And once you start, believe me, it is a little bit addictive, but you will figure it out. Like you will figure out a
Mhm.
routine. But I'm pretty sure, like myself and Erica, every time we see you on a club, we're like, he's in this room. Let's get in. Because
Yeah.
it's just like I don't know if it's something about the way that you speak, your voice, and the value that you bring. It's
Mhm.
all together. It's like you really got it down to get
I,
on
Yeah.
I'm
onto people's minds.
I'm very selective of the room. So if you follow me, you understand I only go in rooms
Yes.
that I can either provide value or find value. I'm not on it just because. And
Yeah.
like I said, we do the Zillow Killer meetup 5 p.m. Eastern every day,
Mm-hmm.
Monday through
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Friday. That's a dedication or that's a commitment I made to make
It
sure that
is.
the
It is.
industry always has a voice, a true voice, right?
Yes.
Not just somebody's trying to give information, but the one thing you'll get from me is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth.
Amen.
That's great. And I think that sometimes you said everything has to be with mindset. And I think you attract the people that have the same mindset, that have the same energy, that have the same goals. And I think that at the end of the day, we need to be surrounded by those people that take us to the next level too. Because trust me, I don't know it all. That's why I go into
Exactly.
rooms in Clubhouse. I'm always trying to feed my mind positive thoughts, positive information. How can better myself, right? And I love what you said about you'll never be fat and never be broke, because in
Yeah.
2016 I also changed my mindset on doing that, which is changing my way of starting being healthy, because it starts with me. Nobody else can do it but myself.
Mhm.
And also never being broke. Sometimes people might say, I don't know, Erica, you'll never be successful if you do this, if you do that. And I'm like, listen, I'm sorry to tell you, but I walk by the grace of God.
Amen.
He tells me where to be. And, the more I walk with him, I'll never be broke, and I think that Dee and I are the same. We met, like almost 7 years ago, and we started doing this Magnet Monday in the pandemic.
This is nice.
Yeah.
And it's been a year going. It's going to be almost
Yeah.
a year next
Next
month.
month. Mm-hmm.
And in Clubhouse, we're learning so much things that
Yeah.
we're improving. And I love that you're giving this boot camp for agents, for anybody that wants to shift their mindset, because that's at the end of the day, that's the key. They need to fit in the positive mindset. How can I be an agent and not a ghost agent, not a ghost realtor? I need to be visible. And I love that. And I love this topic today. Guys, if you're listening, please follow James and the Zillow
Yes.
Killer group. If you have Clubhouse and if you have an iPhone, put the notification. He's always doing this amazing room at 5 o'clock. I jump in and jump out whenever I can, because 5 o'clock sometimes it's super busy for me. But when I'm there, oh my God, I bring, you guys
Yeah.
give so much information.
You guys
Which
got to
is
come hang out
amazing.
on stage. You see me on stage, come hang out. I don't.
Yes,
I will,
absolutely. We'll
absolutely.
love to. We'll love
Yes.
to. James, listen, thank you so much for your time. Honestly, we have a million more questions, but
It's okay.
I know that we're gonna do this again on another
Yes.
time.
Whenever you guys need
And
me, I'm not rushing you guys.
thank you so much for making the time. We love speaking to you today. And, we love that you are helping people change their mindset, because I think that the resources are already there.
Yeah.
We have the internet, like you said, and
Yeah.
it's there. All the social media and everything else is there, but we have to make a change here first in order to put all of that in motion, because we can lose and pay and invest thousands and thousands of
Yeah.
dollars into this new marketing technique, or this new course, or this new that, but it all starts with our mindset. And I love that you're helping people with that, not only how to get the leads and how to make more business, because again, that's where it starts. It's all that we need, guys. So once again, James, where can people find you, and how can we get in touch with you? What are your rooms on Clubhouse usually? And just for the last time, for the people that can get to know you and follow you now.
Yeah. If you guys look up Zillow Killer, one word, you can find me everywhere. I'm not that hard to find. I'm only brown dude out here doing this, so I'm not that hard to find.
I love it. That's one
Awesome.
of the best things about branding, like Zillow Killer everywhere. That's
Yeah.
it. You'll find me.
Yeah. Also, let me, if you can give us, we always say this at the end. If you can give 3 tips for everyone who's listening to you right now, 3 most amazing tips for us to do to improve our business, or health or mind. What would those 3 tips would be?
Yeah. Well, first, understand the real battleground is in the mind. I don't care what you're doing as an entrepreneur, mother, father, whatever it is. If you can keep this strong, everything else can fall in line. The other thing is when you guys hear things that resonate with you guys, right? Move at the speed of implementation. Try not to get to a place where you procrastinate. We say procrastination is the ignorant assumption that you think you still have time. Time is finite. So as long as we can understand that, and we see things that we found of value or we want to add to our lives, move at that speed of implementation, right? You want to, whatever you want to do, you want to work out, go to the gym. I mean, immediately. And the final thing is, as long as you guys understand, the unprepared will always get abused. You'll be more aware of the information you guys take in.
Wow.
Amazing.
That is so
Thank you
good.
so much. Thank you so much for doing this. We're definitely going to invite you to come up to a room, not to a room, but we'll invite you to one of our rooms. And also here in Zoom for Magnet Monday. Thank you so much for this amazing topics. Guys, this is going to be recorded. If you have any questions, please send James a message. I'm going to add his information into my Facebook Live and into Magnet Monday. Also in Instagram, we tagged him already. Thank you again for just inspiring us today and taking us to the next level. May God bless you, James, to continue to flourish your business and giving you lots of health. And again, thank you so much, guys, for connecting with us. We look forward to seeing you next Monday. Make it an amazing week.
Thank you, James. Have a wonderful rest of the week.
Bye.